that was my doing.
I actually tried to mute them and I couldn't, so I just removed that person from the meeting. So I'm sorry about that. All right, well, it's now 2 o'clock, so welcome everyone to Together Tuesday. My name's Kevin Vogel. Hello? Geez, here we go again.
Being recorded and or transcribed. You are not allowed to unmute.
Who's ever 266, could you please mute yourself or something? Forget it. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. So welcome everyone to Together Tuesday. My name's Kevin Vogel. I will be your host today. Today we have Robin McCarthy with us. Hi, Robin, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, Kevin.
Good, and we also have our regulars here, Melissa and Alexander, who will look at any of the questions that you guys might ask during this presentation. Please ask anything that you want. Both Melissa and Alex will be looking at those and trying to get them answered for you as quickly as possible. So today we are going to be covering some Inscape updates, and Robin's going to be showing us things like Azure Cost Review, the new AWS Cost Review that's brand new, Inscape Productivity Insights Premium, which is another great new service that we have. And then I'm going to be walking through everything you need to know about Microsoft Defender, whether it's endpoint, whether it's 365, whether it's Azure Defender. There's a whole bunch of different defenders out there that we're going to be talking about today. So with that, I am going to hand it over here to Robin, if you want to share your screen and show everyone what we're going to be showing today from an Inscape standpoint.
Yes, definitely here. Let me get my screen shared. And if you can just confirm that you can see it.
Yes, I
Great.
can.
I'm going to move that out of the way. All right, so everyone, thank you for joining the call. Some of you may know me, some of you may not, but I work here in the MessageOps team, working with the development team on Inscape, hoping to bring you, value-added services to complement your Microsoft licensing, Office 365 licensing, and Azure that you purchase through us. And with today's call, I wanted to touch on a part of our Inscape product called the Azure Cost Management. So if you are a current customer of ours, sourcing your Azure through us, you may already be familiar with Azure Cost Management, but we have put in some new features. So I'm in a demo environment. I have a secondary tab open that's already been drilled into this Azure Cost Management, and just wanted to go over some of the new functionality, but at the same time remind everybody what it can do. So this Azure Cost Review, you can look at your current month's usage. How is your current resource metering looking. Now, today's the 26th. You can see on the graph it goes up to the 22nd. There is a delay. It's usually about a 2-day delay, but we check it once a day. So we're looking at it depending on the time. When you log in, it could appear more of a delay than those 2 days. So and this is a demo account, but it's showing from the beginning of the month. And it's actually a little bit past. It's going to probably the end of October 22nd, midnight. And today we'll get a refresh of the usage. And you can look at this for current, and you can look at it for the past, right? So I can look at last month, last 3 months. This, of course, will all depend on how long you've been purchasing, Azure through us, because that is a requirement, to have the visibility to these costs. You can filter, which we have a little button here. Obviously, it's self-explanatory, but you can click on it and you can use any of these filtering options to drill into resources or products, resource groups, etc. So you want to make sure that you're checking this out. If you have some Azure, through us, and you want to be mindful of your costs, you can come in here. You can see cost by resource. You can export it if you need to share it internally. You can even look at the daily costs, how things are going. Thankfully, this is a demo account, and I'm only spending $8.60 a day on it. But you can also go down, cost by service, etc., in your invoice. This is the invoice details. Now, this is going to be it's not going to show you the invoice number, right? That's in another section of our Inscape product, but it will give you the line item, charges for that invoice, that last invoice that we did, and you can export that to CSV. So I want to go over that. This is something that we've had for a while. Just wanted to review this, but the new part that we have is now you're able to create budgets. So over on the left-hand side, you'll see an icon for budgets, and I have just this morning I created one, so that's why it's saying evaluation pending, kind of getting ready for this call. But it's real simple. If you want to add a budget, click the button. You can use the filtering option again if you want to get a budget specific to a certain subscription or a certain product, depending on your role in your business. And you can name the budget whatever you want, right? Something that resonates to you. Put a date range and an amount. So let me just grab one. Okay. And let me see, my budget is $300, for example, right? As I started to type this in, it's going to give me that budget line on screen. I'm going to hit next, and now I'm going to give the option for alerts. At what percentage do I want to be alerted that I'm getting close to my budget? So I'm going to hit 75%. It's going to do the math for me based on that budget number I put in on the last screen. And I'm going to, send an email when I hit that threshold to, who. So this is, the email address. You can have up to 6. It can be a group, whatever works for you. Hit create, and now that is a secondary budget that Inscape will help, alert you. I happen to pick 300, I guess, for the same thing. So you can have multiple budgets. You can have different people associated to those budgets. You can go back in and look at the details. You can edit the budget, and you can delete the budget. So wanted to make sure that everybody on this call was aware of this new functionality, because if you're not managing your Azure, we want to make sure that you have the tools to manage your Azure, right? Nobody wants to be surprised on a bill at the end of the month. The other option here on the left-hand side is EA commits, and I hope nobody on this call has an EA for Azure, but if you do, we do have this functionality now that you can add in, how much did you promise to spend with Microsoft and what's your threshold? And so we can kind of keep track of how much you've contributed to that commitment. As people that are on Azure EAs will know, if you don't meet your commitment, then Microsoft will come to you, I think, looking for at the end of the commitment year for the balance or the difference. So this is all about Azure, and this is called our Azure cost review, or on this screen, but on the home page, you'll see it, Azure cost management, like everything Azure here in this tile.
So Robin, this ties in a lot with Anomaly, right? I mean, these two tiles really work in conjunction together. It's getting the information from one, and then if something goes out of whack, Anomaly will actually alert you if something is, spending more money than you thought it would.
Yeah, and thanks, Kevin, for bringing that up, because budgets is looking at what you've spent up to now, right? It's not doing the predictive analysis for how your behavior is going to affect the future, right? So that's where Anomaly comes in. And right now we have Anomaly for Azure, and some customers are familiar with that and have signed up for it. You would be encouraged, please, sign up for Anomaly. We don't charge for it for our CSP customers. And we can make sure that, you're set up to receive alerts for those predicted anomaly fluctuations in the future. So we're going to look at your past history of your Azure consumption. And if changes are made that will predict you're going to spend have a big spike in your pricing, or if somebody turns off a service that has been running consistently for the last 30 days, we're going to alert you as well.
Great.
Hey team, we do have a question in from Caleb. He says he already set up budget alerts within Azure portal. He's asking if he needs to set up an Inscape as well.
It's up to you, Caleb. If the budgets in the Azure portal are working for you, then that's good. You don't need to recreate them in the Inscape portal. They are separate services. We felt that we just wanted to make sure that clients found the the budget capability, and that's why we built it out into Inscape. But they are separate. They are not. Inscape budgets is not the same service that you're finding in the Azure portal for budgets.
I think you can be a little bit more detailed with hours. In other words, if, like you said, you wanted to pick just a service or a VM or something like that, I don't believe that Azure's are that detailed. I think you can get a little bit more detailed with ours.
Great, thank you, Kevin. I would hope so. That's our goal, is to take, and expand on some of the products or services that, you might be able to do in Microsoft. We're going to try to make them be better, right?
So what about this AWS cost management thing? That's new, right?
Yes, and for a while, we didn't have anything but Microsoft, in Inscape. But it's always been our vision, and our charter is to have a central location for our customers to manage multiple cloud, providers, right? We don't expect our customers to be one cloud vendor, versus the other, right? So recently, within the last year, since being part of Sirius, we were focused on the AWS. So I will click into here. It's a little different view, but we are bringing you statistics on your AWS spend, and I will just lay it out. I will probably flip over and call it Azure, but please forgive me. It is the AWS cost review. And here you can see for the month of October, again, we were getting your costs directly from AWS, presenting it in a way that's easy to consume, that you can, on the right-hand side, you can see, you can also filter it, kind of a little different look. Now, I know that Azure cost review and the AWS cost review have a different layout, and we do plan on bringing them together so it won't look so different. But you can look here, and you can, put out what subscription you want to look on. Let's see, I can pick this subscription here, for lack of better words, and we can look at their costs, how they've been trending. We can, go into tags. We're going to, instead of making this a search, we are going to be implementing it as a drop down, kind of similar to, the resources, where you'd be able to select the tags, make it a little easier. But what's neat about this right now, at present in production, as you can see, we're gonna let you make profiles. So kind of, saving this look. So let me call this Atrium, right? And I want to receive a cost snapshot by email. I want to receive this cost snapshot weekly or daily. We are adding monthly. And I can go ahead and put this in. Let me think of my email for this account, this demo account, and save that. So in the future, when I come here, not only am I going to get this emailed to me on the schedule that I selected, I can come in and now I can just click, Atrium to have this view, right? I won't have to go back through and select my filters. And so this profiling capability we're going to add also to the Azure, but we did release it in the AWS first. So we have this similar to what I showed you on the Azure side, budgets. So same workflow here. You're going to be able to add AWS budgets. Okay. And unlike where we called it a EA commit, of course, AWS has their own similar product, and they call it a private pricing agreements. So if you have a private pricing agreement with AWS, you'll be able to set up an alert to monitor your cost and make sure that you're meeting the threshold commitment that you've given to AWS. So any questions on AWS?
Not seeing any other questions here in the chat window, but thank you, Robin.
Very good. So Kevin, what was next on our agenda?
Productivity Insights, the new one.
The new one. So Productivity Insights, we have the free version, right? I'm still in trial in my own demo account here. Free version. I hope everybody on this call has signed up for. I will let you know there is a setting that Microsoft has changed by default that what do they call it? Like it blocks it blocks the user name, right? They're trying to hide it, right? So there is a document Melissa can share. If you want to log in to 365 Productivity Insights and check and make sure that your data is loading, then everything's good. But if you see a gap in your data loading, please reach out, to Melissa, Alex, or the support team. We have a one-page document that we can share with you where in the admin portal you'll have to make a change in the reports setting to allow visibility for that data to come back through. Okay, yeah. So
just so you know, Robin, Caleb actually said it correctly. It's the privacy setting that they have enabled. So you have to you basically have to turn it off.
Exactly. Thank you. And it is in the admin portal. It's not something that we can do for you. We can give you the guidance on how to make that change if it's something that you want to continue to use, right? So 365 Productivity Insights, if you're logged in, you'll see an option over here on the left-hand side. It's got a little eye, icon here, kind of attracting you to it. I've already set this up for my trial's expired. My own trial is expired. In your environment, if you haven't signed up already, you'll see something over here attracting you to click, right? And it will ask you to, sign up for Productivity Insights Premium. Right now, we're still in an early release review. So you can log in. Melissa and Alex, they'll get a notification that you've signed up. And I think the best thing will be to set up a call to kind of go over it one-on-one with your data in front of you, because it'll make more sense. But basically, it's going to allow you to see communication between internal users, or really what we're trying to show is the external users, right? How is your business communicating with those customer tenants, for example? That way management can monitor, response times, right? Maybe the customer support team has a goal of responding, within an hour of an email. You'll be able to get that metrics in our Inscape 365 Premium, Productivity Insights Premium. But it is in early release. You as current customers would be able to sign up for it and test it out.
right, great. Thank you very much, Robin. That was fantastic. Sorry we couldn't do the demo for you today, but if you're interested, get a hold of Melissa, get a hold of Alex. We'll be more than happy to do a demo for you to show you the newest release and how it works. So thanks very much, Robin. That was fantastic.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay, I'm going to jump back here to our presentation and actually walk you through the rest of what we're doing here. So we talked about Microsoft Defender, and just so you know, this is Microsoft's answer to the transformation of cloud and where this digital transformation is going. And they've really spread it across all of their platforms. So, Microsoft, for a long time, really wasn't known as a security vendor. They were, known as an operating system. They did databases, but, ever since they got into the cloud, they've really transformed their business to help people secure their multi-cloud environment, which can include, obviously, on-premise, but it also can include all of the clouds that are out there, whether it's software as a service, infrastructure as a service platform, it really doesn't matter. And, nowadays with the attacks coming in, and I'm sure everyone saw in the news that, Russia's back at it, and you got to be real careful with what's going on. So, one of the things that Microsoft has done is make sure that you could deliver this very, very quickly, get intelligent results, be able to integrate it with your existing security tools, and make sure that all of your platforms are secure, including all of your cloud platforms. So it's going to give you that one dashboard that you need to be able to take a look at all the alerts that you're getting and be able to use automated self-healing to resolve 75%, if not more, of those alerts, so that you're not manually doing this on each and every one of them. And with these security tools, they integrate, like I said, all of the clouds and all of the platforms into a single interface. So whether you're running iOS, whether you're running AWS, Linux, it doesn't matter. With the Microsoft tools nowadays, they will integrate this into a single look and feel that you can deploy very easily, very quickly, and get the results that you're looking for. So you can defend against threats, against common, any type of human-operated ransomware. So you can do demos of that. Best practices, not just for people and technology, but also the processes and metrics that you use. Like I said, this is now Microsoft's big play, is being able to defend against threats with their software. And whether you're using the zero trust model or not today, this is the absolute core of what Microsoft is doing. They started off with a SIM running in Azure, as you probably know it by Sentinel, and they'll protect you all the way across your end user and your infrastructure environment. So it's not just the cloud anymore, it's basically across your whole ecosystem. So like I said, we have Microsoft Defender 365, and that really covers your end users. And we have Azure Defender, which really secures your infrastructure. So when you hear Defender, it's not just one product anymore. They've really broken this down into a few different products depending upon what you're trying to cover, whether it's threat intelligence or AI, visibility, automation. It's all now part of the Azure Sentinel. And for those of you that haven't looked at this, this is, I'll tell you, a real cost-effective way of getting the alerting, getting the information that you need to protect your environment, again, both in the cloud and on-premise. And then you tie that with Microsoft 365 Defender, and you can have identities, endpoints, apps, emails, documents, cloud applications across all the different platforms that you would run, except maybe, the large, like obviously mainframe or Unix-based systems. That's still a little bit out of, Microsoft's area of expertise. But if it runs on the Intel platform, that's really where Microsoft shines across the board. So when you're talking about the endpoints, you're talking about threat and vulnerability management, attack surface reduction, next generation protection, endpoint detection and response, auto investigation and remediation, and that's an important part. And then you can use the Microsoft Threat Experts as part of that Defender for Endpoint that Microsoft now has. And this is all done from a central configuration and administration console, and it ties in all of those APIs and integrations that people are looking from, especially when you're running Linux, Mac OS, iOS, and those platforms that we talked about. Defender for Office 365 will give you that secure posture, prevention, detection, all the way through awareness and training, just like you can send out, test emails to make sure people aren't, letting in some malware or some ransomware attacks. So now they have all of that built into the Office 365 portion of Defender. So it really does go across all of those platforms. And if you take a look at what Defender for Azure, this is where we can talk about SQL. We can talk about server VMs and containers. Containers being now a big part of cloud environments, and securing them is just as important as securing a VM that's running Windows or Linux or so on. It will also look at your network traffic. If you're using IoT to accumulate data, it will protect you across there. And then, of course, all the services that are built into Azure. So, and you can use this across Google, AWS, Azure. It really is that one place you can go now to actually support and defend your cloud environment. So, they give you this IoT one. I know we're running out of time here, so I'm trying to do this pretty quickly, but you can see that you can get up to 60% savings if you're looking at, comparing this to a lot of the traditional vendors, and it automatically eliminates or contains 97% of all the threats. And that you could see from the study here. We're going to be sending you out this presentation so that you have that. Annual reduction in security costs. You can see that, and this is based around some industry studies. This is, I'm telling you, a great way to get really good security. And we're not the only ones saying that. Gartner has Microsoft now in the upper right-hand quadrant of 5 different security studies that they've done. And if you look at Forrester, they have them way up in 7 different studies. So this is something that both the industry experts are saying, not just Microsoft. So it might be a great time to take a look at this. You can also demo threats out there as part of this service. You can defend against attacks, whether it's phishing, whether it's just human operated ransomware, inside threats. You can see all the things that you can actually do now with Defender. This is just a demo. I'm going to leave this in the deck here. We really don't have a lot of time here, but this will show you how you can get from the Microsoft Security Portal all the information, all the reports that you need, that you can actually now take one look and feel and protect not only your on-prem, not only your Azure, but all of your cloud environments, and get this type of information right from your Azure security. It will also help you with best practices, give you different ways of doing the same thing that might be better than the way you're doing it today. And whether it's people or process, you can get this right out of Defender. And here's just a quick little chart I put in here just to show you how the different people in your organization, whether the security architect all the way to the CISO, and what type of information they can get out of now the Defender product. So just a quick eye chart for you guys to take a look at. Again, it's all about the process, and Microsoft has really integrated their process from the zero trust model all the way through to help you protect your environment. So with that, I'm just going to skip through these because you can see this is just some of the services that you can get. But we have some great ones coming up with the holidays coming. We're only going to have 3 of these in November. We're going to have some great popular features from Inscape Manage that we're going to be covering next week, along with what you need to know from migrating from Windows 10 to Windows 11. We're going to give you a checklist so that you know what you need to look for. And then on Tuesday the 9th, we're going to be talking about how to use forms inside of Teams for polling and different information you can now get out of Microsoft Meetings. We're also going to review some of the Teams reports that are inside of Inscape. So really the 9th is going to be a Teams Together Tuesday. And then on the 16th, right before we break here for the holidays for Thanksgiving, we're going to be going over the Inscape licensing and how to procure trial licenses, third-party licenses, and things like that. And what you really get with the MSKU, the Microsoft 365 licensing, whether it's the E3 or the E5, we're going to break that down for you on the 16th. So Melissa, we have any questions at all?
Hey, Kevin, no, I don't see any additional questions here, but I guess one from me is Defender, is that included in the MSKU or is that a standalone license that people can procure?
No, and you do get it. Obviously, with the E5, you get it all, except for the Azure piece of the puzzle. But when it comes to the Defender 365 or the endpoint, you're going to get them with the M3 and the M5. But the Azure Sentinel, that's a different license that has to do with Azure, not so much with Office 365. Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for hanging with us today. I know we ran a little bit over, but I hope you got the information that you were looking for. If you didn't, you can always reach out to Melissa, myself, Robin, Alex, or your Sirius rep. And we'll be more than happy to get on the phone with you and review whatever you need to know. Thanks a lot. You guys have a great day and see you next week.
Thank you all. Bye.